What's up, guys? It's Anthony. So today, a day late, but before tonight's Thursday night football game, I'm going to talk about the picks. Last week, I got 10 out of the 14 picks right. Eagles and the Eagles being one of the big ones that I got wrong. I plan to not get these ones wrong. Some pretty good matchups today. Let's get right to it. We got Denver and San Diego to start off the week tonight on Thursday night. I'm going to go with Denver. I think Paxton Lynch is still starting, isn't he? Trevor Siemian's questionable. And Denver kind of just admitted that they can be beaten. An offense outplayed them. I know, they didn't have the starting quarterback and everything, but, Atlanta beat them. So, questionable about this. It is San Diego. It's a division rival. That's the only reason why I question it all, but I think Denver will pull away the win. San Francisco heads to Buffalo. Now, both of these teams aren't the greatest. I think Buffalo will win this game, but I would like to see Buffalo lose. I honestly don't like Buffalo more than... Well, then again, actually, I want to keep up with this. I said that the San Francisco 49ers will be the biggest flop of the NFL way back when Chip Kelly called the Eagles out, or at least he called the Eagles out, and, I had that whole reaction video to it right here, actually. But yeah, I think I'll go with Buffalo. I would rather see the 49ers go 1-5. Jacksonville and the Bears, both of these teams only have one win. Jacksonville coming off their bye. Bears still running Brian Hoyer. It's basically his job to lose there in Chicago. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars might pull off a win. That's my upset right there. Bears just aren't in a great place right now, and Jacksonville still needs to find their way. They're a really young team. They have a lot of potential, and I think they'll be able to pull away a win. The Los Angeles Rams go to play Detroit. I want the Rams to win this game, but do I think they'll win? I don't know. It's a pretty decent game, to say the least. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the Lions will win that game if they can keep their offense, consistently flowing. I mean, you saw how they did against us of all teams last week when they had an offense that wasn't making mistakes. It was consistent and it was really clicking. I think they'll pull off a win, but I would much rather prefer to see the Rams win that game. The Pittsburgh Steelers go to Miami. Miami, you just need to find out how to win games. Miami, you got Adam Gase there now. Everyone thought that you would be a better team. You have not been a better team. The Steelers, they're a better team. They're 4-1. I think the Steelers will pick up a win here and go 5-1. Cincinnati goes to New England. Cincinnati is not the same as they were last year. They're 2-3. They're really struggling. They did not look great against the Dallas Cowboys last Sunday night. Tom Brady and the Patriots, with Gronk returning as well last week against the Cleveland Browns, just destroyed them. I think it'll be the same way when Cincinnati comes to town. Carolina goes to the Saints for... This is a division rival, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And what is this? NFC South, I believe. I'm terrible with remembering the divisions. But this is a really crappy game. The Panthers are 1-4. The Saints are 1-3. I want the Saints to win. But will they win? Probably not. So I'm going to pick the Panthers. But I want the Saints to win. I think the Saints aren't as great as the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers are the defending NFC champs. That doesn't mean that they're the same. That doesn't mean they're good. I think they're the better team. But, wait. It all depends. To me, it depends on who is starting for Carolina. If Cam Newton comes back, they could win that. If Derek Anderson stays the starter, they might not have the best shot at winning. But that defense of the Saints is really, really bad. And Drew Brees doesn't look the same either. They're not scoring that much on offense. And that's a back and forth game for me. I'm going to go with the Panthers just to be safe. Baltimore Ravens go to the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Both these teams are on losing streaks. The Ravens went 3-0 to 3-2. Giants went from 2-0 to 2-3. Who's the better team here? I want the Ravens to win. Giants are putting up... Well, okay. I'm going to go with the Ravens. And reason being is because the Giants really are inconsistent and they don't look like how they did the first 2 weeks of football. They don't look the same whatsoever. I think that the Giants will lose this game. It'll be a close game, though. And yeah, I want the Giants to keep losing. I predicted that they'd be the worst team, and right now it's kind of sticking. The Eagles travel to Washington, 3-1 versus 3-2. Now, the last time we went to what am I saying? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. The last time the Eagles went to Washington, we lost after making a comeback. We got swept by Washington last year. They knocked us out of the playoffs. I think the Eagles will win this game. I think the Eagles are the better team. Washington is kind of inconsistent as well as the Giants, but not as bad as the Giants. Their defense is vastly improved compared to the Giants, not to mention Kirk Cousins, once getting into a rhythm, can be pretty dangerous, but is very inconsistent as well. That whole entire team is always a mess. They get that one chance. They've gotten that one chance in the past, 16, 17 years to make those playoffs, and they did, but they didn't go anywhere. I think the Eagles will pull off a win. The score most likely will be somewhere around 28 to 17. I'm not expecting the Eagles to blow them out. I'm not expecting the Eagles to play amazingly. I'm just expecting a better game plan and a lot better looking team with a lot less penalties and no more turnovers. We've had two turnovers. We've had 2 turnovers this entire season, and they costed us the game last week. Turnovers are reasons why we lose. That was the same thing back in the Chip Kelly era, and it's still coming back to haunt us. We've only made 2 this year, came in the same exact game last week, and they caused us the loss. So, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think Carson Wentz will redeem himself. I think Ryan Matthews might sit out a little bit. I think we need to see more Wendell Smallwood, a lot more of Kenyon Bonner and Darren Sproles getting the bulk of the carries. I need to see more of Darrell Green Beckham, especially when we get into the red zone. I need to see him on the fade routes. I need to see a lot more of Jordan Matthews in the slot. I need to see a lot more consistency within that offense, especially in the first 2 quarters. Defensively, keep doing what you're doing. Take that second half of the Lions game and keep rolling with how you played. They only allowed 45 yards, 4 first downs, and 3 points that entire second half. And a majority of those yards and the 3 points came on the last drive of the game. So, I'm expecting the Eagles defense to pick up where they left off and be really, really good. Hopefully, they can shut down Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon. Jordan Reed might not play, so if he doesn't, that's a big advantage to us. But Deshaun Jackson has managed to burn us at least 5 times in the past, 4 games we've played against him. We need to shut that guy down, and he might return in 2017. Please do. All right, moving on, we got the Cleveland Browns going to Tennessee to try to get their first win, which is not going to happen. I'm going to stick with Tennessee. I've stuck with them the past 2 weeks. They've gotten the past 2 games won, so I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans over Cleveland. Kansas City goes to Oakland. Oakland, you're 4-1. You're shocking the world. I'm going to stick with you. Good luck to Andy Reid. I have no problem if they win, but I'd love to see Oakland go 5-1. Dallas goes to Green Bay. Both these teams are at 1 loss, but both of these teams are battling for that first place in that division. I believe that the Packers have what it takes to stop Dak Prescott, to stop Zeke Elliott, to freaking stop that offense and beat the Cowboys in a very close affair. I think the score will be around the Browns of 31-20, 31-28, somewhere around there. This is going to be one of the better games. It is clearly going to be America's Game of the Week at 4:25 on Fox. So I'm going to be watching that shit. Let's get with it. But let's go, Aaron Rodgers. Work your magic. Jordy Nelson, let's do this thing, all right? Please, I want the Dallas Cowboys to lose. Moving on, Atlanta versus Seattle. A very good game. I think Atlanta will win this game. Seattle is not what they were. You know, they are 3-1, but their schedule hasn't really consisted of that many big name teams. You know, they've played 2 division rivals, and then they play the Miami Dolphins. Like, come on, this is their first challenge. I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones will accumulate so much freaking fantasy football points. It's gonna be crazy, just like last week. Not maybe near as much as last week, but you know, they're going to get something. I think Atlanta will win this game. It'll be a pretty good game, to say the least. And then we have a Sunday night game between the Indianapolis Colts and the division-leading Houston Texans. Indianapolis is a game behind them at 2-3. Houston is 3-2, and they are division. Excuse me. Let me try that again. They are leading the division at 3-2. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that Houston is going to win. I've tried sticking with the Colts when they look like they have a better shot, and they've lost the past 2 games. Houston does not look good right now either. Both of these teams look really shitty. I'm going to stick with Houston, though. Then Monday night, we have the 1-4 New York Jets going up against the 2-3 Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to predict that Arizona can bounce back and win against the struggling, very, very, very struggling New York Jets. And those are my picks, guys. Please tell me in the comments down below what your picks are, if you agree with mine. And I'll see you guys tonight with my Legends of Tomorrow review and everything like that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm actually going to make an Eagles video breaking down tomorrow, or this weekend's game and everything. You know, the big mismatches, what the Eagles should and shouldn't do. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys then. Have a great rest of your Thursday, guys.